Hey, Allison. Sorry, I'm still trying to get set up a little bit in here. I gotta figure out how to share this. I don't really know how I can do that from here. Hi, Debbie. Okay, let me just get this shared a couple places, and then I will get started here. Can you guys hear me okay? I was having some trouble with the audio earlier today. Probably just where we normally share stuff, I guess. Hopefully the dogs will not lose their minds later. It's still kind of crappy outside, but it's not cold. So they've been barking at everybody. Now I know there's a delay in the video. I'm using Prism, which I hardly ever use that. So I'm hoping that it doesn't cut out on me. We've had some storms the last couple days, so the internet has been kind of hit and miss. What were you playing with, Debbie? I've been on YouTube, but I haven't been on YouTube. Trying to make sure everything's working properly. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I don't do too many lives on YouTube. It's kind of hit and miss on how long, or the frequency. I feel more comfortable doing videos than live streams. I don't know. You may hear my son gaming. He had a long day at school today, so you may hear him. My daughter is not gaming, which is a good thing because she's like 10 times louder than he is. I am happy to be working on my glass mat, though. I finally came. It's a little big, but it works for everything that I needed to, so I can have multiple areas of where I'm working. Hi, Charlene. So I'm just going to wait just a minute and then I will get started because there's a lot of pretty awesome things that they just released between the paints, which I used the other day and really, really, really like. And they're super easy to use, the ink pads and the reinkers. I do need to do them more. I don't know, sometimes my house is not like super quiet. I mean, my kids are doing their things and the dogs my husband works midnight, so I try not to do them during the day, even though I'm not that loud. I just don't want to wake him up because since he does work midnights. Hi, Marie. So I got the 8, what did I get? I just had this pulled up because somebody asked me about it. I got the I got the 24 by 36, and it takes up almost all of my desk. The only thing I don't like about it so far is that I'm going to have to really rechange my lighting because I have a glare and I can't stand it. That's why I have the white piece of paper down there. I was hoping it wouldn't glare that much, but it really does. Okay, let's see. Yeah, the paints are really awesome. I am all about these paints. There's so many things you could do with them just besides just painting. I used them on a stencil the other day for a project I have coming up, and it came out so nice. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I am going to start with the paints first. I have a huge list of things that I want to share, just because if I don't write them down, I won't remember, and they probably won't be shared if I don't remember. Yeah, I almost wish I would have gone with the black matte. So on May 1st, Artesprix launched a bunch of new products. They launched the paints, the acrylic paints, ink pads, and the reinkers. So there are 5 colors that they released. Well, 4 colors and then like a lightning white. So we have red, blue, yellow, and black. So they did primary colors, so that way you can kind of mix your own color. I can't show you just yet. It's I need to do it, but I want to show it so bad, but I can't yet. It's not quite ready. So yeah, they did the primary colors mainly so you can mix them and kind of get your own color story. I like that. I like to have the ability to mix everything. So when I made my project the other day, excuse me, I just took the inks or the paints and I just squirted them right on my mat. They were super easy to clean up. I just sprayed them with a little bit of water and it literally just wiped right up. And I did it both on my glass mat and a cutting mat. Or not cutting, oh my gosh, cutting. A self-healing mat, because I don't always have my glass mat in front of me. So I did it on both, and they both came off super easy. The good thing is with these that I really like is that you can water them down because they're water-based. I like to watercolor a lot. I've been kind of branching out on mediums that I'm using to watercolor, and these watercolor so nicely. I mean, they're going to be dull, so don't like ever freak out if you're using inks, the paints, or anything that Artesprix has, and it looks like super dull, because once you heat it up, it's going to be so bright, so bright. I was playing with one the other day, and I was using the bottle opener, and now, mind you, this is not like this is not complete. This is just me playing with some of the things that I had gotten. So, like with this one, what I did was I laid it on my watercolor paper. I spritzed it really well and laid my blank in it after it dried. Now, you have to wait till they dry before you heat them up, or else you're going to have a huge mess. So, once everything's dry, then you can go ahead and press it. But like this one, I just did the red and the yellow and was playing with it. And then on this side, I used a stencil. Hi, Ashley. So I did use a stencil on this side, and I just used regular copy paper. So the paints they're all water-based, which is nice. So you can get a super light look. Like if you don't want something super dramatic, then you can go in with, you know, a little bit of water and kind of tone it down a bit. I mean, it's still going to be bright. I think I actually have, I don't think I tossed it. I didn't. So this was the paper that this is just copy paper. This isn't even watercolor paper. It's just copy paper. So I probably could have pressed this maybe one more time if I wanted something super light, but I didn't because I did not want to. I just was playing and I just wanted to see how it was going to work. So yeah, so the paints, I love the paints. Hands down, I can use the paints all day long. So next they came out with the ink pads and reinkers. So there are there's 8. Now watch, I probably grabbed the black. Yep, I did. So the black got repackaged, and I know that I have the ink pad, the old ink pad somewhere. So this is what the black used to look like. And then this is the new black. So I like these because I can not only just use my stencils with them, but I can kind of ink blend something that I have in my head. So there's so much versatility in all these products. Like you can use them with all your card making stuff. The only thing you have to remember is when you're stamping. So it needs to be a mirrored, it's going to mirror. So if you're stamping words, it's not going to work. They're going to come back backwards. So they have their own stamp set and everything is mirrored. So it all looks, you know, backwards. But once you press it, it's going to show the right direction. So you always want to make sure it's dry before you heat press. You want to make sure that you have your heat, whatever, if you're using the press or the Cricut, what is it? The Easy Press, or an iron. You want to make sure that you have those at temperature. Now, I will go into those here in a little bit. I just wanted to kind of show you some of the different things. So with the ink pads, they came out with blue, of course black, purple, yellow, orange, pink, brown, red, and green. And I have used these to death. They have a foam ink pad. Yeah, there's on the finger. When you do these, and I'm going to do like a little demo with them and make a little project. You don't need to like smash it down on your stamp. I mean, you can just like tap it on there. And you will get everything, you know, it won't, if you push down too hard, it's going to smash and it's just going to get all over the place. So you want to be kind of gentle. Now I do have, and I got these from the Dollar Tree because I'm cheap. If you're going to ink blend, you want to get a set of brushes that are just for these inks. You do not want to mix these ink pads with your regular ink pads. Ask me how I know that. Ask me how many I've ruined. So you want to make sure that you have like your own dedicated brushes for these ink pads. It will just save you lots of time and misery because I ruined 2 ink pads already. So, and you can use these with anything. So I use copy paper the most and watercolor paper the most. To me, I just feel like that's like the best paper to use. And copy paper is super cheap. Like, I mean, I don't think that I use watercolor paper all the time because I would not have any watercolor paper left. That's right. I use all my, if I can find it at the Dollar Tree, I'm using it at the Dollar Tree. So here are the rinkers, and the rinkers match the ink pads, of course. And I like that they They remind me of my alcohol inks, or just about any other, like, re-inker that you have. I have not used these yet. But I'm super excited that they came, that they have them in the ink pads. Because, like I said, I do a lot of ink blending. I have used it on the gel press. Me and the gel press are fighting right now. I think I ruined it and may need to order another one. So I'm waiting for that to come. Ink pads, water-based as well. So you can do the same as with the paints that you can with the ink pads. They're just not going to be as thick as the paints. So another thing that you need to remember is when you are doing the sublimation, you want to make sure that your project is dry. You also want to make sure that you have your protective paper. I feel like I'm going to need to buy stock in this because I have made so many things using the, you know what, Charlene, I don't know. That'd be something Ashley might be able to answer. If you can mix the inker with the white acrylic paint. I don't see why not, but I don't know. I don't want to give you false information. Hi, Heidi. So, like I said, you can use them on stencils. And I'm sorry I have this white piece of paper here. It's just to block the glare from my lights. So, stencils, you have, now, you could use images to stamp with. Now, I am going to say they do stain your stamps. So, if you don't mind that, I mean, I used to be that person that freaked out and did not like my stamps stained. But I've gotten over that. So, it's totally okay now. But just remember, when you stamp those, it's going to be reverse. So, it's not going to be the same. So, it's just kind of like when you mirror stamp another image. So, now what I like to use with these ink pads so far has been floral stamps. I'm sure you guys have seen, I've used a lot of honeybee stamps lately, but I love their florals. So I have been using a lot of those because when you stamp it, it's going to be mirrored, right? It's going to be backwards. So it doesn't matter with like a floral image because it's still a floral image. I mean, it's not like a word where you flip it and you're not going to be able to read anything on it. It's just going to be that floral image. So I've been doing a lot of those lately, and I've been using the makeup bags. I've made a couple for my mom and my sister for Mother's Day. And then I've also been doing them on a couple other projects. So, not just stamps you can use, but stencils as well. I hope this isn't super hard to see. Actually, you know what? I pulled this paper out just in case. So you can use them as stencils. Like, just be careful. Like, I am very heavy-handed with my brushes. Very heavy-handed. Yes, word stencils would be really good to use because you could just flip it over. I actually think I do have a word stencil. I'll have to look and see. So, like I said, just with anything else, just make sure that, you know, you're not so heavy-handed. And don't get discouraged if you feel like it's super dull, because it will look like that until you add the heat to it. So, those are the ink pads, the paints, and it's just endless for what you can do with it. I mean, I look at it as like card making, to intertwine the card making as well, because you can use the same products you use to make a card to create a sublimation image project. So, I think what I'm going to try Charlene's question about mixing the white acrylic paint with the re-inker. Because I didn't have a set project in mind for tonight. Let's see. I'm just going over my notes to make sure I've covered a good bit of everything. So yes, okay, so yeah, I will, once I get once the heat prep, oh my gosh, once the gel plate comes, I will be able to do more. I'm not sure how I ruined it, but it was a sad day. It was a sad day at my house. So, and I don't worry about paintbrushes either when I'm using this, because it's a paintbrush. Like, I can get paintbrushes pretty much anywhere, and I would say maybe Target for some cheap ones. I'm sure the Dollar Tree has like a little cheap pack of brushes that you can use. So I never really worry about brushes. All right, so I'm gonna have to try to figure out. I'm gonna have to move this. I'm sorry, guys. If you see the glare, I will try to cover it up as best as I can. Let's see. Let's use this one. Let me grab some watercolor paper. Let's see if I can do this without knocking everything off the desk. I tried to be as prepared as I could because, like I said, I don't do very many lives on my channel. I am a weird person. I have a hard time doing lives and thinking of things to say. In person, however, it's a little different. I'm just going to grab my cutter out here. And I'm not even going to try to measure it. I'm just going to cut a piece so we can test this out and see. Okay, so I do have a little container of water right here. And we're going to use this heart stencil, I think. So this would be a great thing to do with that, the alphabet stencil. Oh my gosh. Words. You know why? Because it's Wednesday. It's so close to the weekend. Let me move some of this out of my way. If you guys could see my desk right now, you'd be like, oh my gosh, how can you even work here? There's so many things on my desk. I had to move so many things for this mat because it literally takes up half of my desk. Yeah, I'm going to do something different. So, I'm still going to use a stencil. But I think what I'm going to do is, I'm going to grab my little spatula out. I'm going to grab the white. And this is good too because I can show you guys how easy this is to clean up. So you want to make sure that you shake your ink or your paints before you use them. For me, it's just habit. I shake everything. I know. I wish it was closer to the weekend for you guys. And I'm just going to grab... Actually, I don't think I need a brush. We'll use this one because I want to mix it. So what color re-inker would you guys want me to do with this stencil? So I have... Sorry guys, I had to take a drink. I have red. I'm not going to use the black. Brown. Which, yeah, we're not going to use the brown either. Orange. Purple. Green. Ooh, I almost set that in there. Yellow. Purple. Or blue. Pink. I already said blue. Pink. Yeah, no, not Tuesday. I'm glad it's not Tuesday. That was a long Tuesday yesterday. My kids had their final band concert with their band director. So it was a very long, very sad day. So I think what I'm going to use to do this is my little scraper. Now, I'm not concerned about this down here because I'm going to cut that off. All right, so let's mix up some purple. And I'm just going to add it to the side. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's no big deal. Okay, so we're just going to go in. Can you guys see that? I guess I should be looking at my screen. Let me zoom you in just a little bit. Oh no. What did I do? Cancel. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, guys. Let's see. I gotta stand up. Okay. Let me zoom you out. Yes, purple wins. Purple wins. I think my husband just got home from work. Okay. You can kind of see it there, but once I get it on the paper, you'll be able to see it. So I'm just going to slowly like add this in because I just want to see if this is going to work. I have my heat press going already. I started that before I started the live because I'm impatient and I like to see things now. I don't know why I just didn't squirt it all in there. Okay, so I probably need more, but that's okay. I'm just going to scrape what I have off this. Okay, so I got a little bit on here. And I need more. Okay, we're going to do more because, you know, why not? We're just going to squirt it in here this time. See, I'd be one just to stop right here and use the marble, but I'm weird, so it may just look marbly anyways. So, and this paint comes off your stencils super easy, as well as the ink pads. It's not like how you do with, you know, your paste or anything like that. It really comes off very easily. All right, let's see if I can do this again. And if it doesn't work, at least we know now. I think that's the best thing about this glass mat is it's so easy to clean up. I feel like this kind of went under my stencil a little bit, but again, that's okay for right now. I just want to see if this is going to work. And of course it did. Okay, let me... Should we press it anyways? It's gonna look like a blob, but that's okay. And actually, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna set this aside for a second. And then we're gonna do this again. Except for this time, I'm not going to be slow. And I'm going to actually do it from the top. So yes, my husband is home. He was driving bus for, every once in a while he'll do a substitute route for our high school kids. I'm just cleaning off the back of this, and I don't mind being messy. I mean, that's what art is, right? Some of you might not like getting messy. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do this time. I'm going to start it up here. Make sure I'm in frame. See my mess? Kind of just like the gel press. We're just going to do it just like this. still going to mix it. Just a little bit. And since it's already on my stencil, it's not a big deal. All right. And it might just be the paint is just going to go through it and kind of blob it a little bit, which is fine too for this. I just want to see if this is going to work. Okay, I'm not going to try to cover it all. Well, that's a little bit better. All right, we're going to go with that one. Let me find a blank I want to use. That's what I should have done, was just gone over the heart. But I need to let this dry, so I'm going to set this over here for just a minute while this dries. I'm going to clean up my mess so that you guys can see like how easy this stuff is to clean. And I have a baby wipe, and I have obviously water and a paper towel. I think this would just be so good for so many projects. I mean, I try not to limit myself just to one area. I try to branch out into different things. This is the baby wipe. I think I don't like using, why I don't like using a baby wipe on my glass mats, because it gets streaky. And that's probably the only thing that really bothers me. So now let's go in with some water. Grab my paper towels. I mean, this is super easy to clean up. I think that's what I love the most about it. I don't have to fiddle around with the printer. I don't have to fiddle around with, you know, making sure I have enough ink, or the paper's, you know, doing what I want it to do. And I feel like Artesprix is for everybody. Like, from somebody who's been sublimating forever to somebody who's just now starting out with sublimation. I feel like their products are very user-friendly, and it's not a battle of, oh my gosh, I can't get this to work. Why isn't this working? It just is a good combination for not just the beginner, but for somebody who's been doing this for quite a while. So while that's drying, let's talk a little bit about, so all of the directions for all the blanks are on Artesprix's website. I was really bad about not linking, and I'm sorry. Once the live is over, I can go back and link everything. But I don't know. I love playing with these ink pads and the paints. It just is another creative outlet, you know, that you can create something and somebody can say, wow, I didn't really think that was, you know, I could do it with that. So I'm going to cut this paper in half, and we're going to do some ink blending, which this will be easier to do too, because it's not going to take that long to dry. And I make sure everything is like bone dry. Now I was able to get 3 presses out of the last project that I did. Obviously the first one's going to be darker, and then, you know, the ones after that are going to be, you know, a little bit lighter. But for what I needed it for, it worked so well. Okay, set that to the side for a minute. Grab my brushes again. Now what I do, I need to label these, but I haven't yet because I haven't been 100% sure if these are the ones I was going to stick to. I'm kind of a brush snob. I can't help it. Like, one, I like all my brushes to match, but at the same time, I need to be able to distinguish what brushes are for what, because I have brushes for oxides and brushes for pigment inks. So these ones I just have to kind of like rub off a little bit. Like, I know this is my green. This is my orange. So let me grab my green ink pad. And what I'm going to do, I have done that. I have used die cuts to cut things out and press them. It makes it, sometimes it makes it a lot easier because then you know exactly where your image is going. I did that with the floral bouquet that I did not that long ago. I believe I posted that on Instagram. But yeah, I just used the die and cut that out and pop that on there. It would make it so much easier. Yeah, I have a ton of those, Allison, from Make It by Marco. They worked really, 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 really nicely. I have not tried to heat it up with the heat tool yet. It doesn't really take that long to dry, depending on what type of paper you use. Like copy paper obviously is going to be the quickest dry time because there's like nothing to it. But I haven't tried it with my heat gun yet. Maybe I'll try that. I'll see until there's a little spot left. I'm going to grab a stencil. Oh my gosh, I almost just set stuff right on top of my project. So I'm grabbing the Stamp Anything stencil. It's the Monstera leaves. I think that's what they're called. Yeah, Monstera leaves. And I'm going to grab my green ink pad. And I know, okay, so when you're first doing it, what you want to make sure is that you are tracing your image. Like when I did the first bookmark, I didn't trace it because I knew where I was just going to lay it down at. But you want to make sure that it's a lot easier to trace your image to know exactly where your blank is going to go. Let's see here. Oh, I have it right here actually. So I die cut that, let me get this tape off here. That's the protective tape. Oh no. So I used the coordinating die to cut this out after I was done ink blending. So I ink blended all of this. And like I said, I probably could have got a couple more presses too out of this one, but I didn't want to push my luck because sometimes it does not, sometimes I move it and and it's my fault that I get ghosting. So you want to trace your image on your paper, whatever it is, copy paper, watercolor paper, heavy duty paper. Charlene, I think you would really like this because it's so hands-on and not just, I contemplating getting the Sublimation printer as well. And I know that there are two different types of sublimation printing. I mean, I like this because I'm more hands-on and I can pretty much make whatever I want with, you know, the ink pads and the paints and the inkers. I mean, even the markers. And I forgot to talk about the markers, but there are markers too that you can use to color your images in. I just feel like this is such an, oh, I can't think of the word. So inclusive to everybody, not just, you know, the advanced person who's doing sublimation. But I do like these because you can get messy with them. You can, you know, you can still create things that you would create on a card, but being able to sublimate it, if that makes sense. So I am going to go in with the green, and I know this is my green brush because I just used it. So literally, like just one tap, and I always have to blot it off because I am very heavy-handed when it comes to my ink blending, and you're literally going to do the same thing as, you know, if you would as you're ink blending. So I'm trying to be gentle. Doesn't always work for me. But again, you're not just limited to stencils either. I mean, the only thing I would say was when you get something like this, you want to make sure that you have the tape, the protective paper, and, you know, a good heat press. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. Sublimation meets mixed media. So I'm just going to do a couple of these because I have a little bag I want to put these on. My mom loves Monstera leaf. So does my daughter. See, there, I didn't blot it off, and I have a ton of it now on that spot. So I'm just going to do a couple of these. See, I'm so used to, like, really getting in there and getting that ink from my oxides and my distress inks. So, like, with a stencil like this, like, so you don't have to worry about, like, harsh edges with something like this because it's just the leaves. Let's see. Let's do this one in green. I'm going to do one in blue, too, so you guys can kind of see the colors. Let's see where my blue is. But you can even, like, layer your colors on top of each other, just like you would with, like, traditional ink blending. That's yellow. See, this is why I need to mark them. Like, that's purple. Pink. I'll eventually get there. Okay. I finally found it. So that one was green. I'm sorry if you can hear my dogs chomping in the background. They like to eat at the most inopportune times. There it is, blue. So again, you just need like the little bit of this. Because it does go along. I mean, look, I barely just tapped that. And already there's so much here. And like I said, if it seems dull, it's not going to after you press it. Now, I did not trace my blank this time because I know it's going on my bag. And I know exactly where I want to put it. This would be really good to do multiple, or what is the word? Like a continuing image. It's probably not the right word, but... I think that might be it. Yeah, I love these. Like, I love that I can, like, bring all my card making stuff in and still use what I have without having to buy anything, like, super special for it. Alright, I got two more over here. Not going to be super precise here. So there's that, and I could even just go in and cut those little pieces off, and I'm sure that's where I moved the stencil. So I'm going to just use my little trimmer, and I'm going to trim it off. Thankfully, I have, like, a ton of blanks so that I can play. But even the blanks themselves aren't expensive. I mean, I feel like if you're making something for somebody, like, you want it to be nice quality. Like, you don't want to just make them something that is going to fall apart in, you know, a day or so. Okay. Let me see here. Get some stuff out of the way. I just like how versatile everything is. And it's not just made for one person specifically. Oh yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a set of brushes that's just dedicated specifically to these ink pads. For me, it just makes it a little bit easier. I have like a ton of these. Oh my gosh, they're the Make It by Marco ink pad holder or brush holders, and I use these. I have a ton of these, and they just came out with a a bunch of new things as well. So I try to use those to separate what's, what brushes for what. So, and these, like I said, they clean super easy. They're not going to leave a huge mess. I'm just going to flip this guy over. I don't know, I just love that there's so many things that you could do with these products. It's not just limited to, you know, one specific thing. So they have, right now, Artesprix has a starter kit for $49.99. Which includes the sublimation markers, the original markers, heat tape, and I have this listed. Give me just a second. Protective, so the 10 count markers, heat tape, protective paper, 4 count pack of bookmarks, bag tag, which you get 2, and the canvas zip bags, which you get 3, which is a great little starter kit for somebody who just kind of wants to dabble and see what they're, you know, what it's about. Okay, let's see. Let me grab my blank here. I thought that I had everything else. I guess not. I actually have its own dedicated bin. There we are. Okay. So, you guys can see me go through, like, the whole process. So, here's the bag. Now, I've already went ahead and made sure that it was completely clean. I'm going to set it down, face down. And I'm going to use my protective tape, which I seem to have grown legs and walked away. My kids, I have to watch because my kids try to steal my tape all the time. And they don't realize, like, certain tape has certain purposes, and you cannot just take the tape. I need to get a, oh my gosh, what's it called? A tape dispenser. I cannot find them anywhere. The only place I have not checked yet, which I need to, is like Home... Office Max? Yeah, Office Max, which is like the closest place to us. I cannot find my tape. Where did my tape go? Oh no. Well, I'm looking for my tape. Do you guys have any questions about anything? I know I kind of sped through this, and I do that a lot when I get nervous. I will talk really fast and like really speed through things, and I'm trying to do better by slowing down a little bit and not rushing so much. So my dog is upset with me because I'm not paying her any attention. That's why you guys can hear her whining. Oh, I know. And she would rock it. She would rock that little pet bandana. She's so funny. She probably has the most character out of all of our animals. Why can't I find... I have two rolls of it. I have 2 rolls of this tape, and I thought that I put it in my adhesive drawer, and I'm not seeing it. I'm sure I've set it someplace because I just was using all this stuff. Oh, there it is. Okay, so, heat safe tape. I tape the bejesus out of this because I move my stuff a lot, and I don't know why. I think it's because I shake a little bit, so it just, it kind of gets all over the place. So, like I said, I'm going to tape this until I can't tape it no more. And most people wouldn't have to do that. But again, when I do my peak test and stuff, I do shake a little bit. So I'm trying not to. Actually, let's move this down just a little bit. I don't want it to be near that zipper because I want the zipper to hang out of my press. She's whining because she can see people outside. And she literally just came back in from outside. So the only thing about pushing it this far down is I'm really close to the edge here. And I was going to pull out my Easy Press, but it's so much easier to use my heat press than the Easy Press. All right, I'm going to put one more piece because I'm paranoid. And I'll show you guys what you would do next. So you have everything taped down. Your heat press is going. This is when you want to grab your protective paper and make a sublimation sandwich. Now I literally just rip it because it takes me too long to cut. I'm sorry if that was super loud. So you want to put a piece on the bottom. Delilah. A piece on the bottom, and you're going to put a piece on the top. And like I said, I just ripped this, and I'm probably using way too much for this one. But as long as it doesn't go through, like I can use this bottom piece again. But if it comes through the paper onto this, onto the protective paper, you're not going to want to use that again because it will transfer to any other project that you have going. I'm going to let her out. I'm so sorry, guys. Come on, outside, go. Okay, now that she is outside, she is very happy. Yeah, I tape everything so much. So we have our protective paper. We have a sheet at the bottom and a sheet at the top. Now I'm just waiting for my heat press to come back up to temperature, only because I kind of had it running along. So it's almost there. So, but you want to do this sandwich with any blank that you have. You don't want to just throw it in there and like hope for the best because it's going to come through and it's going to stain your heat press. Ask me how I know that. And that wasn't even purposeful. It's because my paper slid. I wasn't paying attention. So that's almost dry, or almost ready to go. This one's almost dry. I'm going to grab my heat gun and kind of see what it does. So it's going to be loud for a second because I don't know how to kind of mute it a little bit with the software that I'm using. So it's going to be loud. So as you can see, there's still some spots like down here. But I'm sure it would be the same. Let me try to hold it away from. Okay, so I can already see why I probably would not use my heat gun. So can you see the cracks in here? That would probably, it's going to come up on your image just because like now there's space there. So I would say not to use your heat gun to try to speed it up and dry quicker. Only because you're going to get those cracks. So I do want to say thank you guys for stopping in at the live. I really appreciate it. I know I need to do more so I can feel more comfortable doing them. I've been trying to branch out a little bit and be a little bit more, to me it's daring. I lose my words sometimes, and it's hard for me to pick back up sometimes where I left off. But I really do enjoy the lives. I love interacting with everybody. It's just, it's fun. It's fun to do. Every once in a while. I don't know that I would do it a couple times a month. Probably, I might do it too. And I'd like to do it on Instagram as well. So I may do an Instagram live over the weekend, just so my Instagram people can see it too. I like having the flexibility of using both platforms. We are almost there. So if you guys have not checked out, I'm going to put the Artesprix website in the chat. So that way you can hop on over to the website and check everything out. Like, there's so many awesome things. And be sure to check out the blog as well. Like, there are so many fantastic projects on there right now. And everything's available now, which is nice. Hopefully you guys will be able to, that'll be a clickable link. Come on, Mr. Heat Press. So for this blank, I should have said this before, for this blank, you want to do it for 40 seconds at 400 degrees. 40, yeah. Let me just double check. Just to be sure. So if you guys have any like questions about that, there is a spot on the website where you can go and they have frequently asked questions, directions. I use directions a lot because I forget, but I'm happy that they're there because it's very hard to talk about a live or talk about a product if you don't know, excuse me, what you're supposed to heat it at. "45 seconds. Okay, so it's 400 degrees for 45 seconds. And if you do the 45 seconds and you feel like it's not well, thank you, Ashley. If you feel it's not pressed all the way, or you don't feel it's vibrant enough, that's why the peak test is super important. I have to do the peak test because there's times where sometimes I don't get it in my heat press right, and it doesn't have enough pressure, so it's not transferring that image. So peak test is super important. Like, I will lift up a corner, and usually 9 times out of 10, it'll be fine. But there's that, one chance that it's not. So then I can just peel up the corner. If I need to press it again, I have the opportunity to do so without peeling everything up, trying to reline everything up, and just press it for a little bit longer. Ooh, I can't wait to see all the projects. I have to say, Artesprix has an amazing design team. Overheat an image. Ashley, can you overheat an image? I've never had that problem, but I don't normally press super long because it usually works like the first time I put it through the heat press. I'm sure I feel like you can if it's in there for like minutes, or if you're, I don't know the correct answer to that one. Okay, my stuff is ready to go. I'm going to throw it in the heat press. So you want to make sure you keep your zipper part out because it will melt. And when I do my peak test, I will bring it over so you guys can see. Okay, so that is going. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I wouldn't think you could overheat the metal ones. But I think, yeah, maybe if you are doing fabric, you could. Okay, so I'm just waiting for the timer on that one to go off. And then we'll press the heart too. I'm going to cut this down. And the time and the temperature don't I've not found any difference from time and temperature, whether I'm using heavy cardstock or just copy paper. If I do use watercolor paper, I do like to press it just a little bit longer. I'm going to grab another blank here. Okay, so I'm going to bring her over so I can do the peak test. Now, when you do your peak test, regardless of what material you're working on, it's going to be hot. Like, you don't just want to hands on it, like, real quick. I'm going to remove my paper, and see, nothing came through on my paper so that I can use this paper again. So I'm just going to grab this corner right here. Ouch. Sometimes I use my reverse tweezers, which is probably what I should do now. I think that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, so this came out really nicely. So I'm not going to have to repress this again. This is what I like. I like the fact that I don't have to repress it several times to get what I'm looking for. Now you're going to see the other little parts that I did not cut off. But check that out. Look how cool that is. Thankfully, this is going to my mom, so she's not like super overly picky, I should say. Now, this is because I did not use that much ink on this. But look how much vibrant that is compared to the paper. This is what I love about this stuff. Super easy. I like how bright the colors are. So now I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing with this bag. And of course it's going to look a little odd at first because it went through my stencil. So I'm going to lay this down. And I'm going to grab my tape because you need to tape it down. But yeah, it's so, I mean, it's so cool. It's so cool that you could take a stencil and ink like you would to make a card and put it on a canvas product, or oh my gosh, like a makeup bag. You could put it on a shirt. I mean, like, the possibilities with this stuff is just so endless. So you're not just stuck to one thing. Alright. Now the paint is completely dry, and like I said, there's probably going to be some cracks in the one corner because I did it with the heat gun, which is totally fine. I mean, it could look a little grungy. I use these bags too. I've made a lot of them. A lot of them for like my diabetes bags, to carry my insulin and like my pump meter and stuff like that in it. But I like that I can customize it. So it's not just one of those, you know, not that there's anything wrong with the traditional, you know, diabetes supply bags, but I like my stuff to look like me. And people know that it's my stuff. Yeah, I got to find a little tape dispenser because I am driving myself nuts. I've looked everywhere. I looked at the Dollar Tree. I've looked at Dollar General because those are the places that we have closest to us. Okay, so that one we're going to set aside. And you probably could press that one more time. I mean, again, it's not going to be as bright as if as you would do it, you know, on the first time around. The second time around, it's going to, you know, obviously it's going to be a little bit lighter. So I'm going to go throw this back in my heat press. And again, I'm leaving that zipper part hanging out because I don't want that to melt. But yeah, you can use mix and match everything. I mean, it's so nice to have so many options. It's not just like a one size fits all. Because sometimes when you're crafting, when you're making cards, it's kind of like, okay, well, I can only use this for card making. But really, you just have to branch out and kind of like look and see what you can use to sublimate. I mean, there's things that I have in my stash that I wouldn't have thought of I could sublimate, and I did. And it was pretty awesome. I mean, just like this. This is that stamp and stencil from Honeybee Stamps. And I stamped it with the black sublimation ink and just went through with my stencils. And it just, even now, like the colors look so bright. But when you heat press it, it's going to look so much brighter. All right, almost done, almost done. So between the glass mat and Artesprix stuff, there's so many things I need to do. But it's good things. It's good things. It's things that I wouldn't be able to do, you know, before. Ooh, this guy is toasty. Alright, so I'm going to do the little peak test again. Now remember, this is that paint. So it's not just the, oh my gosh. Check that out, guys. And that's only because I didn't get a bunch of paint, like, right here. But it's so cool. So there it is with the paint on the zipper bag, on a zipper bag. So it looks so dull on the watercolor paper. And then as soon as you press it, it's awesome. It brightens up so much. It's kind of like the, oh my gosh, I can't think of the word. But anyways, it's really cool. I really like the difference in those. I like that it's a little bit grungier. And you can also add any other image that you want to. And that's with the white. So yes, the white and the Rainker work perfectly together. I really like how this came out. So that's just an even more, you know, versatile. So you have your white lightning paint for sublimation, and you can mix that with any Rainker that you have. So there's lots of, you know, lots of versatility to this. You're not just, you know, stuck with, oh, I can only use Rainkers, or I have to really water this down. No, I think this came out pretty awesome, and I have a feeling my daughter will be stealing this. I don't mind these little spots right here because I knew what was on my paper to begin with. Now, if you're making something for somebody else, you might want to, you know, be a little more careful than I am. But I think this just comes out so nice. So we have the heart with the stencil and the paint. So this one was with the acrylic lightning for sublimation and the purple Rainker mixed together on watercolor paper, and it came out, I really love it. And then this one is the blue and green ink pads, and a stencil. And that was just, like I said, on regular paper. There was like nothing to that. So you can see, it doesn't matter how heavy your paper is. You're going to get awesome looking projects using these products. And I am no master of sublimation. Yeah, I can't believe how, like, I didn't know what to expect with the Rainker, but man, that is so vibrant. Even with the white in there, it just really, really pops. So, that is all I have for you guys tonight. If you guys have any questions, make sure that you leave them in the chat. I'm going to go back through. I'm going to link everything. I tried to do that beforehand, but it's kind of hard. I'm using a different software for live, so I will go through and redo everything. I will have pictures posted coming soon. And be sure to check out the Artesprix website. There's a ton of cool things on there. From, you know, the Rainkers, paints, ink pads, to, you know, the blanks. There's so many blanks. So there's so many, you know, opportunities to make all kinds of awesome projects. If you post anything, if you use sublimation, if you made anything, please post it and just hashtag Artesprix. I do thank you guys so much. Lives are still super hard for me, but I'm working on my my lives. So yeah, make sure you check out Artesprix's website. All the awesome products. This is all available now. Any questions, let me know. I will answer them the best I can. If I don't have the answer, I will definitely be reaching out to people to find the answer. Oh, I didn't think about the tape. I should have done that. I should have used the tape to cover up those spots. So, until next time, guys, I will have a video posted soon using more of the Artesprix products. Again, if you guys have any questions, just let me know. I hope you guys all have a great, fantastic rest of your weekend, and I will see you guys next time.